And next we have Cheri Gurse. Dr. Cheri Gurse is an educator, facilitator, and consultant for social justice. In Santa Barbara since 1975, Cheri has been a founder, co-founder, or group member of initiatives addressing rape and sexual assault, racial justice, anti-Semitism, LGBTQ identities, courageous conversations, and ally building. In addition to teaching sociology and psychology at Antioch University, she co-facilitates small groups called Heart to Heart, talking about race and racism, and does research on sexual health needs of LGBTQ folks in Santa Barbara and Ventura counties. And she loves her sweetheart, their critters and books, and enjoys helping to nurture and sustain the culturally diverse communities of Santa Barbara and beyond. What a star you are. Please welcome Cheri Gurse.
I'm Cheri, and I want to say, the first thing I want to say is that this man and his husband married me and my partner. I like to say Gary and Ron married us, but, officiated. Yeah. Thank you. I'm a lot older than you, and Deja, and just a little older than Gare, and he knows my stories, but it makes a difference in the story that the few stories I have to share. I'm 64, and I grew up in Los Angeles, West Los Angeles. I've been in Santa Barbara since 1975. Not leaving, I hope. And what I was afraid of growing up was anti-Semitism. I was afraid of how I was treated, or how I might be treated, and what the world seemed to me to be saying about Jews. And then I was also afraid. So this is elementary school in the late 50s and through the 60s, and then junior high, and then high school. And so I also, during that time, we didn't know the words about any of these words, of course. And really what was up for me about my identity was that I was a really smart girl. I was smart. And that just wasn't okay in my milieu, right? And I see a lot of women going, And so my coming out stories from my younger days have to do with saying, well, I'm Jewish. No, I don't celebrate that. I'm Jewish. No, I'm not going to go on the school bus and sing those songs. I'm forgetting the names, but I know, all of us know that when we're in the minority, we know what the dominant culture is all about. So I know a lot about Christian songs and carols, that's the word. My partner's name, carols. Oh yeah. Okay, so, and by the way, she's highly introverted, and she's not here. It's just not her thing. I came out as a lesbian at age 30. And the sorts of, I'll say flat out, I haven't experienced overt, horrible prejudice about my own story, about my own coming out, my own time. Really, for me, the worst part of my coming out was my own internalized oppression. All of the stereotyping, the prejudice that, of course, I'd grown up with. And so I really spent a long time, 10 to 15 years, and still, I will catch myself saying, oh, I don't want to wear that. I want to wear something else so that I look a little bit more, I'm so embarrassed saying this, a little bit more femme. Although I've never been accused of not looking femme. However, I've wanted to not look femme. There's just so much that can go on inside a person's head, I think. So, for example, in my very early years, in the first decade, in my 30s, I worked at UCSB for 20 years, and so I was there when I was coming out. I felt, this is my own internalized depression, right? I felt sorrow or sadness sometimes when someone I came out to, how do I say this? I still wanted men to approve of me. I still wanted men to think that I mattered and that I was important. That's how I grew up. Men and boys were more important than girls and women, and they were the ones I wanted to be around. And man, that just felt really bad for me for a long time. So when a couple of different men in my life at UCSB, for example, other professionals, right? I was on the staff. If they expressed any sadness or just, oh, you're a lesbian? Oh, that's so different. I got sad about that. I wanted to make them feel better. It was really messed up. So I spent a long time dealing with the way I was hurting myself. Outside world was not hurting me that much. I was in a doctor's office once, a man, and he was looking close. It was a dermatologist. He was helping me, and out of the blue, he said, "What sort of birth control do you use?" This is not a painful problem at all. This was not hard. This is, I'm now telling you, one of the moments when I started to claim my power, because I said in this very inappropriately loud voice, I don't use birth control. I'm a lesbian. And, yeah. I was 36 or something. So just giving you a picture of who I was for some time. And so, that internalized stuff, that's pretty bad. And everything else I wanted to say has pretty much left at the moment. Yeah, it'll come back later. So those were my issues that I was dealing with. And in this community here, I've been very out forever. Once I did fully come out. So I'd say from my 40s on. There is a process, by the way, of coming out over and over and over. Do you all know about that? Like, oh, I'll tell my parents. Oh, I'll tell my neighbor. Oh, I'll tell my doctor, who I stopped seeing. Each time, each little time or large time when I came out, I did feel better and bigger and stronger.